DASH diet. The diet that's proven to lower blood pressure and prevent dementia. The DASH diet is rich in fruit, vegetables, whole grains, and lean protein. You've cut down on salt, swapped crisps for nuts, and even reined in the booze. Yet your blood pressure is still creeping upwards. Sound familiar? About 1 in 3 UK adults now have high blood pressure, a condition linked to around 80,000 cardiovascular deaths a year. Often called the silent killer, it can damage the body for years before symptoms appear, dramatically increasing risk of heart attack, stroke, and vascular dementia. But one of the most effective ways to tackle it may be sitting on your plate. New research shows the DASH diet, a simple healthy eating plan specifically designed to lower blood pressure, doesn't just protect cardiovascular health, it may also help guard against age-related cognitive decline too. In a study of almost 160,000 adults published in JAMA Neurology, those most closely following a DASH-style diet, rich in fruit, vegetables, whole grains, and lean protein, had a 41% lower risk of cognitive decline. This adds to evidence linking DASH to lower rates of hypertension, heart disease, stroke, and type 2 diabetes. What's good for the heart is good for the brain, says Priya Tu, dietitian and author of the DASH diet. Lower your blood pressure in just 21 days. I've seen patients avoid blood pressure medication by following a DASH-style diet. They also report feeling mentally clearer and having more energy. What is the DASH diet? The DASH diet is a Mediterranean-style eating plan that prescribes specific daily servings of fruit, vegetables, whole grains, low-fat dairy, and lean proteins to achieve the right balance of nutrients for healthy blood pressure. DASH, which stands for Dietary Approaches to Stop Hypertension, was originally developed in the 1990s by a team of researchers at the U.S. National Heart, Lung, and Blood Institute. Over the past 3 decades, it has become one of the world's most evidence-backed eating plans and is regularly ranked among the world's healthiest diets by organizations including the British Heart Foundation and Blood Pressure UK. DASH is one of those diets that's really stood the test of time, says Tu. That's because it has such strong evidence behind it and isn't restrictive. It emphasizes balanced, healthy eating, so it's easily achievable. It's designed as a long-term lifestyle rather than a short-term diet. The benefits. 1. It reduces blood pressure. In a landmark DASH trial published in the New England Journal of Medicine, researchers compared 3 diets, a typical Western diet, one rich in fruit and vegetables, and the DASH diet. The results were striking. Within 2 weeks, people following DASH saw significantly greater reductions in blood pressure than those on either of the other diets. Among participants with hypertension, systolic blood pressure fell by about 11 mmHg and diastolic by 5.5 mmHg. Scientists believe the efficacy of the DASH diet is due to its combination of potassium, calcium, magnesium, and fiber. Scientists believe the efficacy of the DASH diet is partly due to its combination of potassium, calcium, magnesium, and fiber, Moment RF. For people who already had hypertension, the reduction was equal to that from drugs used at the time, says Dr. Catherine Champagne, the Director of Nutritional Epidemiology at the Pennington Biomedical Research Center and one of the lead developers of the DASH diet. Importantly, the effect couldn't be explained by salt reduction, as all 3 diets contain similar amounts of sodium, around 3,000 milligrams a day. Scientists believe its potency lies in the combination of potassium, calcium, magnesium, and fiber, alongside lower levels of saturated fat and sugar. 2. It protects your heart. Lowering blood pressure is only part of the story. By replacing artery-clogging saturated fats with healthier oils and increasing intake of fiber and plant sterols, the DASH diet also lowers LDL or bad cholesterol and reduces the buildup of fatty plaques in the arteries. By tackling both high blood pressure and cholesterol, it can improve cardiovascular health more broadly. The high potassium intake from fruit and vegetables helps relax blood vessel walls so blood can flow more easily and counters some of sodium's harmful effects, says Tu. Calcium, fiber, and omega-3 fatty acids also support blood vessels while reducing inflammation and cholesterol. A large review in the journal Nutrients found the diet was associated with a 20% lower risk of cardiovascular disease and 19% reduced risk of stroke. 3. It slows down cognitive decline. The network of blood vessels that nourishes the heart also supplies the brain, and damage to these vessels can contribute to cognitive decline and vascular dementia. The DASH diet provides many nutrients that help support the brain, says Tu. Oily fish provides omega-3 fats that support brain cell structure. Berries and citrus fruits provide flavonoids that boost blood flow to the brain, while nuts and seeds are rich in vitamin E that protects against neuroinflammation. A plate of salmon with quinoa and raw vegetables. Oily fish, a staple of the DASH diet, is rich in omega-3 fats, which support brain health. Wirestock/iStock photo. In the recent JAMA Neurology study, researchers analyzed the effects of 6 heart-healthy diets, including the Mediterranean and DASH diets. While all were associated with better cognitive health later in life, DASH had the strongest links to lower rates of cognitive decline. The researchers also found that midlife, between the ages of 45 and 65, appeared to be the most beneficial time to adopt the DASH diet, as this is often when risk factors such as high blood pressure begin to emerge. 4. It can help you lose weight and keep it off. The DASH diet wasn't designed as a weight loss diet, but many people find they naturally lose weight. The DASH diet helps people become more aware of portion sizes and what they're eating, says Dr. Champagne. It's also a sustainable diet, and one of the keys to maintaining a healthy weight is finding an eating pattern you're happy with and don't tire of. Tu agrees. The diet increases protein and fiber, which helps keep you fuller for longer, while the extra fruit and vegetables naturally crowd out processed foods that are easy to overeat, she says. In one study in Nutrients, adults over 65 with obesity who followed a DASH-style diet with plenty of lean protein reduced body fat while preserving muscle strength. 5. It helps control blood sugar. The DASH diet's emphasis on whole grains, fruit, vegetables, and legumes naturally increases your fiber intake, helping slow the release of sugar into the bloodstream and prevent sharp spikes in blood glucose. Whole grain food. Whole grains can help slow the release of sugar into the bloodstream and prevent glucose spikes. Helen Kamikaro, by replacing refined carbohydrates with whole grains and helping maintain a healthy weight. DASH may also improve insulin sensitivity and reduce excess abdominal fat, a major risk factor for type 2 diabetes. Abdominal fat triggers inflammation, which can stop your body using insulin properly, meaning sugar builds up in the bloodstream. If you're worried about the natural sugars in fruit, try pairing it with protein or healthy fats such as nuts, seeds, or yogurt to slow the release of sugar into the bloodstream, says Tu. Are there any drawbacks? There are very few downsides to the DASH diet, says Tu. Anyone with high blood pressure should not stop taking medication before speaking to their GP. If you have chronic kidney disease, you may need a lower potassium intake. DASH versus Mediterranean diet versus MIND. The DASH, Mediterranean, and MIND diets all emphasize fruit and vegetables, whole grains, healthy fats, and lean protein. The Mediterranean diet places more emphasis on olive oil, fish, and moderate red wine, says Tu. For heart health, both are excellent, but if blood pressure is your main concern, I recommend DASH. Dr. Champagne agrees. The American Heart Association's #1 diet is the DASH diet. If you have concerns about heart disease, it's the first diet you should try. The lower saturated fat and higher calcium content help give it the edge. The MIND diet, essentially a Mediterranean DASH hybrid, is specifically designed to support brain health. It puts extra emphasis on nutrients known to protect cognitive function, such as berries and leafy greens. How to follow the diet. You don't need to buy special foods or count every calorie to follow the DASH diet. For beginners, Tu recommends starting with small changes. Try including whole grains at every meal to boost your fiber and mineral intake. Swap meat for fish a couple of times a week or add an extra serving of fruit or veg to one meal a day, she says. Once that feels easy, build up from there. What should you eat on the DASH diet? Aim to build a balanced plate at each meal with plenty of color and variety. Fill half your plate with vegetables and fruit, a quarter with whole grains and a quarter with fish, poultry, or beans, says Tu. I follow a DASH-style diet myself, and my meals might include porridge with banana and chia seeds, wholemeal toast with eggs and vegetables, salmon pasta, or roasted vegetables and fish. Try to cook from scratch as much as possible and reduce ultra-processed foods. There's still room for treats, says 2. If you love crisps or biscuits, you don't need to cut them out completely. Just balance them with more nutritious foods. Verdict. Is the DASH diet good for you? The DASH diet is one of the best evidenced dietary approaches for lowering blood pressure, says Dr. Pauline Swift, Chair of Blood Pressure UK. For many people, a DASH-style diet, alongside regular blood pressure checks, physical activity, and medication where prescribed, can make a meaningful difference. 2 agrees. The DASH diet gives people a balanced framework for eating that they can realistically maintain for life, she says. The Telegraph, Mary Comberthue, July 2nd, 2026 at 12:00 a.m. PDT.